Well, good afternoon, everybody. So today we have somebody with us who normally is not in front of the camera, but who does amazing work on a day-to-day basis on behalf of the county, and that is Joe Shriver, our county administrator, who is really right there as a right hand to everybody to work on the county's behalf. So, Joe, thanks for taking a few minutes and chatting with us about COVID and the effects of the county with regard to your daily job.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, I guess you couldn't say no to me since we do work together every day. So you have to cover some of these topics, whether you like to or not.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Joe, how many years have you now been with the county?
This is my 24th year. I started under Judge Murgatroyd back in '99.
Wow. And so now we've worked together in your role as a county administrator. This is, I guess, we're now in our 6th year together in this role. Never seen anything like it. Everybody who comes on and talks about this COVID pandemic and the effects of it in the past couple of months, never seen anything like this. But we had to shut the building down. One of the questions I think you got a lot was dealing with staff. And did we lay people off? How many people were working? Update the community on what we had to do with the staffing and how we worked out our levels of service.
It was certainly, we have gone through a lot of things over those 24 years at the county that I've been involved in floods, tornadoes, courthouse building fires, just an amazing amount of things. And yet none of us were really super prepared for this because you don't understand, you're in a customer service business in delivering governmental services, and that is contact with the public. And then one day it stops on a dime and says, we need to limit contact with folks. So I was thoroughly impressed with our departments and our services here at the county that we were able to very quickly pivot from being face-to-face customer service in a very old school manner to high-tech virtual meetings, virtual delivery of services too. Basically, throughout this whole process, the only thing that you couldn't come to the courthouse and get either by Dropbox, by mail, or online was a driver's license. Outside of that, I was very impressed with all our elected officials who followed our lead in making flexible schedules for individuals. We are very heavily first responder based. You have the jail, you have police, you have dispatch. Those folks don't get to go home. Those folks don't get to be socially distant. They have an essential job that just had to be delivered. And so that's a vast majority of our workforce to begin with. All of our administrative workforce realized that they could do a number of things in a very short period of time to be ready to work from either home or remotely. And so we were very blessed the way we scaled this back. We, as the onset of COVID, we were able to go split shift and still have folks working at home, not necessarily sitting there. They were working at home. It's just we wanted to eliminate the exposure rate to our backups. So if you have someone that controls payroll, if you have someone that controls benefits, those first responders need to know that those things are taken care of while they're out there dealing with the public and while they're dealing with COVID, those sort of things. And so you needed to keep bills being paid. And so we had to have the backups not being exposed to the primary person there. So we began doing a split shift, having folks work at home and having half in the office. And then at the height of this, and as we were able to transition more folks into working remotely, we had skeleton crews coming in. But again, I'm very proud to say that no services stopped at the county. While the building was closed to the public, we were able to continue delivering services for folks throughout COVID, and will continue to.
And while doing that, you spoke about the elected officials in this building and Covington in particular. I think that group has really worked hard to try and provide the services. We don't dictate their schedules as a fiscal court, of course, but I think your point about knowing that they all provided their services in any way possible And probably, again, the one challenge has been driver's license. And then, of course, we're working on getting Independence back open as soon as possible so that that building can be dealt with in a safe fashion as well. We had the benefit of the new building where we were kind of set up a little bit better to deal with COVID than an older building like the Independence Courthouse. But, let's jump to the fact we talk about the staffing levels. I know a lot of these questions, but what I get is, hey, did we lay people off? Did people keep their jobs both during COVID or as we're still getting through this when it started out and where we are today? Did anyone lose their jobs? Did we furlough?
No, but with our position in the county and the way our budget was structured, we were able to basically reallocate folks. And again, a majority of the folks were able to work remotely. And I know, and I'll be honest with you, prior to this COVID, I had my ideas of what working at home meant. I really did. But having done that myself, having watched others, there was a lot of work being done. It wasn't paid vacations. We didn't have to skinny our staff down because, again, we were able through technology to keep people plugged in, to keep people doing the necessary work. And oftentimes, again, it was a flexible situation, but we were able to connect and have that done remotely. As far as layoffs, those weren't, we weren't there. We were able to keep folks busy and keep folks allocated. We were, God bless our Homeland Security folks who got us the proper PPE, the proper hand sanitizers, the proper equipment to keep us going. And as we transitioned from the height of a bare bones back to getting our folks in, we started in late May, getting our folks back into the office on a full-time basis and opened the doors to the Covington Courthouse June 1st. Again, it was a testament to both our IT as well as our staff that were nimble enough to make the changes very quickly, to adapt to procedures, to learn how to work in an office with other folks where you're in close proximity. No one knew about COVID when we were designing this building, but thank goodness for some of the big spaces we do have here to be able to accommodate the public and to be able to accommodate our coworkers with social distancing. That was one of the biggest things that I would tell folks about the closure of the buildings. It's certainly, while employee safety is one of my top priorities day to day, it was public safety. Because if anyone's come to this building and seen auto renewal at the beginning or end of the month, they know that you're going to have lines. We have over 130,000 vehicles registered in Kenton County. Those are a lot of vehicles each month that need to be re-registered. And so lines are going to be inevitable. And the whole point of shutting the building down when we did was simply to keep public safe as well as the employees. Now, we have done everything we can in reopening to keep our employees safe. And one of those issues at Independence is doing some physical environment safety out there, putting more glass in, doing more separation. And as soon as we get that secured, we will certainly have that facility open up and running as soon as possible.
One of the points you talked about was that, we've got some very, very critical staff who cannot even cut down 10%, jail, 911 dispatch, police, but the jail. We'll be talking in the next couple of days with the Commonwealth Attorney Rob Sanders and Alicia Webb-Edgington from Life Learning Center, and then most importantly, our jailer, Terry Carl. The population for a jail was built for 600, and then we were hitting 7, 8, 9 over the past year or so. Have you ever seen the population, what it is now? And we got down into the 400s, I think, or in the high 3s. But have you ever seen that? You started out in the county of the jail, right? So you've seen it. I did. You've seen the history. So
I started out under jailer Terry Carl, and at that time, I think the jail in '99 was certified for 362, and we were regularly over 4 to 450, and under a court order from Judge Bertelsmann. But no, I have not seen the levels that we saw when, in September. I think it was 853 was a high one last September, and we were down into the mid 300s, mid 340s. I'd never seen that at the county, and that is a testament to Rob Sanders, Stacy Tapke, and the judges working quickly to avoid exposure in a very volatile place, with it being confined like it is.
Yeah. Well, they've managed that well, and we'll be hearing more about that whole plan here in the next couple of days. But I guess, Joe, the other takeaway, we've been managing the staff. You've been doing a great job leading the department heads to provide services, and we want to get back open up. We want to open up safely as possible. Maybe as we wrap up, if you can, your perspective on this effort and how we're dealing with the other counties as well. We've got some things happening. So let the public know what we've been doing to make sure we're in alignment with the other counties and the health department as well.
Well, ever since the pandemic started, I guess in early to mid-March, we've had daily communication with the other two counties as well as the health district. And that has been immensely helpful in the planning process and moving forward, whether it's the delivery of services, in Northern Kentucky, or interpreting the guidelines by the governor, because judges, the rules changed by not the day, but by the hour, because what we thought we knew in the morning, by the time we got the governor's press conference in the evening, and no fault to the governor, but things had changed drastically, and guidelines had come out that were drastically different than the ones that we were digesting that morning. So having that communication and that working relationship with the three counties was fantastic. Having the department heads to quickly respond to what we were given of a given day and morning, and to be able to implement that, things like getting our parks back open. When other businesses started reopening, folks need a nice, safe place to go, and parks are one of them. That we felt it important to make the necessary adjustments, and we still have some things that aren't quite open yet, but we're working on those, because the biggest thing is safety. We're still wanting to make sure that whatever we do and however we do it is safe, both for the community as well as the employees delivering that.
Well, I know that the communication is wide open among the counties, and you're a big piece of that, making sure that we actually get the information we need or able to implement it for our community. And I appreciate all the work you do and have done since day one of this thing. And I know we're not out of it yet, but appreciate all the hard work you do with the entire team.
It's pretty easy with the elected officials we have and the staff we have. It makes my job a heck of a lot easier. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.